job, Victor.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of WizKidsForever. It's been a while. I don't think I've been around since the summer league, but your boy is back because I'm ready to start another season of the NBA and I'm ready to start another season of Wizards basketball. To give you a timestamp, as I do for all of my episodes, today is Wednesday, October the 23rd, 2024, and it's about 7 o'clock. So yesterday, the NBA season actually commenced with a couple of primetime matchups between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks, and the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Lakers. Well, guess what? The NBA has gave us real little brother billing, and our season doesn't start until tomorrow, Thursday, October 24th, where most everybody else has started their season at least by today or tonight, being Wednesday, October the 23rd. They done gave our little old Wizards little brother billing, and our season actually starts on the third night of the official NBA season. So I'm just here to give you a Wizards season preview, a quick episode because I know I haven't checked in since the summer league, some things that have transpired with the team since the summer league, and some things to look for going into this season. So before I get too deep into this video though, you already know what I'm going to say. Be sure to comment, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. We're at the start of another NBA season, and as I told you before, especially during the summer, I said I'm really committed to giving you Wizards coverage this year. If you don't know, I do run another podcast covering the Washington Commanders, Bleeding BNG, but guess what? I'm trying to make this my full-time job, covering DC sports, if not national sports. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, flood the comments, because I can't do it without you guys. And without further ado, man, let's get into this episode. So, to give you a season preview, I'm not here to sell any false dreams. I'm not here to give any false hope. This is going to be another long season. So go ahead, prepare yourself. Go ahead and brace yourself for another long season. Because to be quite honest, we're still in phase one of the rebuild. The rebuild that started far too late. And the rebuild that actually started last year. So we're still in the infancy stages of the rebuild. So here are some couple things that I'm looking for to be the theme of this season for our Washington Wizards. So the season I'm looking for, and some things that you should be looking for this season, is this is going to be a season full of developing our young guys, hopefully shipping off some veteran contracts for a couple assets that we can use down the line, and hopefully we are competing in every game, because that's something that we didn't get last year, and that's one of the biggest reasons why Wes Unseld Jr. was let go, in season, is because I think that Michael Winger and Will Dawkins, they were just simply tired of sitting through blowouts, and that's one of the reasons why I wasn't as, in tune to the podcast and engaged with the podcast as I really wanted to be, because honestly, I know that what I've signed myself up for being a Washington Wizards fan, but I can't sit through blowouts, 30-point blowouts in the first quarter. And if you think that's an anomaly and you think that's hyperbole, that's what was happening with the Washington Wizards early in the season last year. So hopefully during this season, I know we're going to take a lot of L's. I know we're going to take a lot of L's on the chin, no Diddy, but hopefully we just competing. Hopefully we competing and giving us more effort than we showed last season. Because to be quite honest, I'm not fooling myself. The tank is still on. It's still capture the flag season, because I really think that that's happening. I think that it's destined to be capture the flag in DC. Like, the marketing geniuses can't write that up, can't write that script up any better, to be quite honest. So in order to get Cooper Flag, the sensation coming out of Duke, you're going to have the number one pick. Like, let's not fool ourselves. This isn't like this year's draft where we didn't know who the number one pick was going to be. This is like the year when Victor Wembanyama was coming out. This is like the year when LeBron James was coming out. There's a shoot-in at the number one pick, and that's Cooper capture the flag Bailey. Cooper capture the flag coming into DC. And you already see, I got my mind on a couple of other prospects just in case that we don't hit that number one pick. A couple of prospects like Ace Bailey out of Rutgers, Dylan Hopper out of Rutgers as well. So there's a couple of guys that are lined up at the top of the draft that I think can potentially turn the tide of this, franchise. So that's why we're still tanking. So just look for us to compete. Don't look for a lot of wins. And we're going to get the occasional side of no defense. But even in those games where we're not playing defense, because I just simply think that we don't have good defensive players, I just hope that we give an effort on the defensive end and making, marginal gains game in and game out. So earlier this week, I believe on Monday, Corey Kispert, it was actually reported that Corey Kispert had actually signed his rookie extension. So the Wizards actually brought it down to the deadline. I think they brought it down to the witching hour, which was the last couple of minutes before the deadline was due. So some people were in doubt about whether this contract was going to happen, but I don't think that there was ever a doubt in my mind. I knew that Corey was getting the bag. Now, whether he's going to keep that bag and be in DC for a while, I don't know. Because like I said, look forward to this season being worth about a lot of our veterans being shipped off for potential assets and future assets down the line. Because if you look at the contract that Corey Kispert signed, it was a 4-year deal worth $54 million. If that sounds familiar, that's eerily similar to the same deal that Denny Avdia signed prior to last year at 4 years, $55 million. So essentially $1 million less. And the thing that stood out to me is that this is a contract that's going to be attractive across the league. This is why Denny was shipped off for 2 first-round picks. So Corey Kispert, who is an elite shooter, he's been an elite shooter since day one, and somebody that has become a hell of a finisher at the basket. Not saying that, and it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. He's not going through guys dunking through the rim, but if you look at his at the rim numbers, they're some of the top in the league, especially at the wing position. So you can tell that he's really been working on his craft around the basket, being crafty, and his strength. And he's taking leaps while he's still a piss poor defender. And I think that I might be able to get a bucket on Corey. I'm joking. Just to accentuate how bad of a defender Corey Kispert is. I think that he has really become a player across the league and somebody that's on a 4-year, $54 million contract. I think about half the teams in the NBA are going to want Corey Kispert come the trade deadline. We just saw yesterday the Boston Celtics put up 63s in the game. Like the NBA is broken right now, if you don't know. This is not the basketball that I love, but this is the basketball that Steph Curry has created, right? We are seeing the remnants of Steph Curry being such a dominant factor over the course of the last decade. So teams are going to be searching for shooters. They're going to be busting it wide open for shooters. So I think that Corey Kispert is going to be a hot name at the deadline. So like I said at the beginning of the episode, another thing that I'm going to be looking for going into this season is development for our young guys. So you guys know we had 3 first-round draft picks to go along with a number of young guys that we already had on the roster. So just go through the first three draft picks that we've had. Alexander Sarr, I think that he showed major improvement from what was honestly a rough summer league. Like I'm gonna hold out for my dog. I'm gonna always be a Washington Wizards fan. But I totally understood why people were quick to give Alex Sarr that bust label after the summer league because he played at one of the worst, number 2 picks all time or top 3 picks all time at the summer league. Now, I didn't say that Alex Sarr was a bust. I just said I totally understood why the hot take kings out there were quick to give it to him because that's what they do is give out hot takes. But I knew somebody that was following his game over the course of the season. Somebody that identified him as a draft target early last year is that like that offensive game is raw as hell. That shit raw as hell, and that shit gonna be. It's going to be a while until we see him be a contributor on the offensive end at a high level. Like, that shit got to be put in the slow cooker, the crock pot, and some more shit. The offensive game is raw as hell. And if you ain't got a play initiator like we didn't have time in and time out in the summer league, I know Bub Carrington was there, but he was still getting adjusted to that role. You're not going to look good. But throughout the preseason, he's shown that he has a better feel for the game. His shot was less flat, so I think that that might have been, a result. That flat shot that we saw in the summer league might have been a result of, just a long offseason process, a long draft process. And the reason why the biggest reason why I wanted to bring him here is that he's a freak of an athlete, and that's going to show instantly on the defensive end. That's going to show instantly on the defensive end. We've already saw plays where he's been defending guys at the rim and at the perimeter. And that's what you need to win in modern NBA basketball. When it's so much space with damn near 5 out and 4 out, 1 in offenses, you need guys that are able to cover ground and are able to cover multiple positions at once. And that's what Alex Sarr is. That's his unicorn superpower potential that I see from him. And he showed flashes of that in the preseason. So I couldn't really ask for much more. And then he gave you, good numbers on the offensive end. Like I said, he showed great gains since the summer league. One thing that I would like to see him improve on is his hands around the rim. So a lot of those 10 and 12 point game outings will turn into 14 and 16 point game outings just for the simple fact that he's not bobbling the ball. He can go straight up. Because he got like a 34-inch vert at 7 foot, 7 foot 2. So yeah, this is a freak athlete that we dealing with. So no, he's not a bust by any means, and I'm excited to see what he can provide going into the season. Our second first round pick, Bub Carrington. This is the guy that I was super excited to see. Not a DMV guy, because Baltimore is not in the DMV. And if you're a real Washington Wizards fan, you should know that. But, we were the Baltimore Bullets at one point. So I can still consider him a hometown kid. He was probably my favorite draft pick. And he showed a lot of things in the summer league. I think he went for a damn near triple-double in a couple of games. But in the preseason, I see that he's still raw. But you can tell that he's the son of a coach. His father's like a legendary AAU coach in Baltimore. So he has a great feel for the game. He hit a couple of his trademark pull up off the dribble type shots, which is essential in the NBA, especially if you want to be a bucket getter, where so many people get these robot type buckets, whether it has to be a layup or a free throw or a 3-pointer. Bub is a guy that has some flow in his paintbrush, has some artistry in his game. I love his trademark pull-up jumpers. I do think that he can get stronger. I think he gets pushed off his spot on not only the offensive end, but the defensive end as well, because the effort is there. I saw him trying to provide some ball pressure on the defensive end and some rim pressure on the offensive end. So he's a great prototype for the modern NBA guard at around 6'4", 6'5". Not the most explosive, but like I said, I did see him providing some rim pressure during the course of the preseason. And the one thing that I noticed and that I really loved about Bub's game is that he got like a real good all-around game where he's, pitching in every aspect of the game. So in games, especially as a rookie, when your shot isn't falling, especially with somebody with a shot diet like Bub, where he takes a lot of contested twos, a lot of contested shots at the rim. If those shots aren't falling, this is a guy that still is going to contribute on the offense and in other aspects, and as well as the defensive end. You saw a glimpse of that with his 12-6-4 game against the Toronto Raptors. So I think Bub is on the up and up. I'm excited to see him get the keys, hopefully, when we trade one of these veterans off the team that I'll get in later in this episode. Our third first-round pick. And I said that Bub was my favorite coming out of the draft, but this guy might honestly be my favorite as of today in October 2024 as the season is set to commence tomorrow. Keyshawn George. This guy, has shocked the shit out of me. Now, I like Keyshawn George coming out of Miami because he's a big wing. This is a guy that was a lead type guard when he was playing overseas. He transitioned his game to a spot up type shooter and a wing defender. Not saying that he was great at it, but that was his role at Miami. So this was a guy that has shown versatility, shown an ability to adapt to different type of roles on the team. So I was excited about the Keyshawn George pick, but I think I might not be, my excitement that I had in June might not have been doing the excitement that I have in October justice. Keyshawn George is a fucking dog. Now, I'm not trying to talk in hyperbole. I'm not trying to size him up to be something that he's not right now. But the reason that he might be my favorite pick, because he is showing some things right now as a wet behind the air rookie that's still just participating in the preseason that I think that you need to be that are essential that you need to be a productive NBA player. He has elite pace. This is another thing that you need to have to be a certified bucket getter. He's able to get his shot off any which way using his frame, that 6'8", 6'9" frame, going up against smaller guys, using his quickness because he's not the most slew of foot when he's going up against bigger type wings. He's shooting over guys. The shot looks pure. He has a array of ways to get his shot off. At the rim, he got the step back. He got just pull back. If it sounds like I'm making Keyshawn George to sound like prime Kawhi Leonard, it might, because he looked like that in the preseason. And I promised myself not to get too carried away. But if you've been watching the game, and I know we still getting blown out in a couple of them, so I know they've been a hard watch. But you know everything that I'm saying about Keyshawn George is true. Not looking like a prime. He looking like a prime Paul George. Out there doing a little bit of everything, getting it off the dribble, hitting a couple step backs, contributing on the defensive end. I remember one play against the New York Knicks, which I think was our first preseason game, where he had a contest, got the rebound, licked everybody off, took it coast to coast. So that's showing that lead ball handler potential, and getting that from a guy that's 6'8" or 6'9". That's the stuff you need to win the modern NBA basketball. Now, sticking with some of these veterans, Jonas Valanciunas and Malcolm Brogdon, they should be rentals, to be quite honest, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. And to be honest, Malcolm Brogdon, that's family. He's married to my cousin, so I know that he's a local guy. I know that he's excited to be back in the DMV, but I did want to tell him to his face, not to get your hopes up, buddy, because you are. I think we over here, WizKidsForever, think that you're going to be a rental. But I do think that he's going to contribute a lot at the beginning of the season. We might even see him in the starting lineup with a guy like Jonas Valanciunas to get his reps up, to get film on him so that we can ship him off to a couple of contending teams, hopefully, at the deadline. But I love the veteran presence. I think that a guy like Bub can learn from a guy like Malcolm Brogdon. I think a guy like Alex Sarr can learn from a guy like Jonas Valanciunas, especially like crashing the glass, how to put on weight. Because while Jonas Valanciunas is a monstrosity of a man now, he didn't come like that coming into the league in 2011. I believe that's when he was drafted. If we can remember, while he wasn't as thin as Alex Sarr, he was real thin coming into the league with the Toronto Raptors. This is a guy, like, he looked like 300-pound Travis Kelce now. So, Alex can learn how to transform his body and things of that nature. Sticking with some veterans that are still on the roster, Kyle Kuzma. To be quite honest, and I'm going to try to put this as nice as possible, Kyle Kuzma looked like he had his talent zapped from the Monstars this offseason. Kyle Kuzma looks like he ain't been putting in any work in the gym. This is a guy that always talks about how high his work ethic is. Well, it hasn't translated to the preseason. And I'm not going to say that you wasn't shooting in the gym. I'm not going to hit you with the Rick Ross. I'm not going to do that. But it looks like you ain't been shooting in the gym. Kyle Kuzma had a rough preseason. And I really don't want to put ourselves in a position where we really badly build this thing, right? Because we know that there was an offer for Kyle Kuzma to be shipped off to the Dallas Mavericks last year. But our loyalty and his loyalty to us didn't allow us to do that. And it looks like his talent might be in regression mode, something that we saw with Bradley Beal. When we realized that, damn, we might have been holding on to this too long. So I don't want to do this with Kyle Kuzma. Not saying that Kyle Kuzma has ever reached the type of value that Bradley Beal once had. But I think that we can potentially get a better deal than some fucking second round picks like we did with Bradley Beal if you ship him off at the right time. I think we might have missed him at his highest value, but I don't want him at his lowest. And if he keeps putting up these type of performances that he's had since during the preseason and it translates into the regular season, that shit will hit his lowest quick, fast, and in a hurry. Trust me. He out here bricking balls when he's not. No Diddy. Oh, wow, that sounded wild. He ends up here throwing up bricks when he's not shooting too strong. He's airballing. His defense was never on-1. He ain't never been a great defender. He out here jacking shots. So, curious to see how that translates into the regular season. And Jordan Poole. This is how I'll close out this episode. I'm excited to see what Jordan Poole can do with the ball in his hands finally at the lead guard. If you've heard every interview that Jordan Poole has done since Media Day and leading up to the season, he's letting you know that he was out of position last year, that he's finally having the ball in his hands. And I agree, but goddamn, Jordan, you doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on that bitch. So I really need you to do something with the ball in your hands this year because you're letting us know that, I expect you to be out here dishing that thing, giving us 20 points per game like we expected last year. I expect I have the Jordan Poole expectations that I had last year going into this season because once, Brian Keefe was implemented and you were able to be on the ball more, we did see some improvement, but you could only go butt up. To be quite honest, you can only go butt up. After Jordan Poole's start to the 2023 season. It was that bad. But what I've seen in the preseason is that with him with the ball in his hands, he does have some creativity, something that I haven't seen from a Wizards lead ball handler since John Wall. But I still don't see the twitchiness and the first step that I saw that he had with the Golden State Warriors. I didn't see it last year at all with the Wizards. He was getting his ass clamped up, and I was sitting there with the game with my jaw to the floor because I ain't never seen Jordan. I ain't saying that he out of opposite, but Jordan Poole had a bag. And last year that bag must have been left in Oakland because he was getting his ass boned up by defenders, not beating him off the dribble. I am seeing a little more twitchiness. I am seeing a little more creativity. And a little more craftiness. He is getting to the rim a little easier. But I don't know if it's me, but I'm still not seeing that twitchiness and that first step that I saw coming out of Golden State. So I'm excited to see what Jordan Poole can do this season as a lead ball handler. Not even going to fool myself and think that he can win the Most Improved Award. I thought that was his last year. I'm just going to see how the season starts off with Jordan Poole. But as I said, he can only be better. He can only go up from the beginning of last year. So with that being said, that'll do it for this episode. If you can't tell, I'm super excited. Hopefully you learned about your Wizards today. Hopefully you got some things to look forward to when you're watching Wizards basketball. Thanks to us over here at WizKidsForever. But I'm super excited for the season. And yeah, a lot more content being pushed out. I don't think I'm gonna do an episode after every game, but we're gonna have weekly episodes where we're recapping the games that we missed since our prior episode. So just so you could get used to the logistics of the channel and how we're doing it. But as always, if you're not following us on social media, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to go ahead and do it now. At WizKidsForever on Instagram and on X. Do I need to spell it out for y'all? I will. WizKidsForever. If you're listening to us on audio-only platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating. Please leave a review. That's how we finesse these algorithms so that when you're searching anything Washington Wizards, WizKidsForever is that #1 content hub that pops up in your search bar. And yeah, Wizards basketball is here. 2024 NBA is here. I'm super excited. A lot of videos coming to the channel. Reaction videos. Yeah, a lot of Wizards content coming to the channel. So hit that subscribe button, and I'll check in on y'all on the flip side. Peace.